right, guys. All right, guys. The mic. Oh, really? Really? Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Let me tie this up real fast. All right, guys. All right, mic is hot. We are live with another one, guys. Okay, we are live with another one. Welcome to the channel. This is OE MMA TV. I'm your host, OE. Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. And like I always say, this is your channel, the only channel where the fans come first, not last. All right, guys. Dean, welcome back to the chat. Welcome back to your channel. How you doing, Dean? How you been? Hopefully you're having a good one, man. And guys, topic of discussion. This is post-fight UFC fight night in China, headlined by Johnny Walker and Zhang Mingyang. All right, there's a couple of things that we're going to talk about, a couple of things that we need to touch up on. Okay. But as it stands, guys, for that event, I went 7-5. Okay. I went 7-5 for my UFC fight predictions for that event. As it is right now for 2025 with my UFC fight predictions, guys, I'm 191 wins. Okay, 191 wins and 129 losses. That is 191 wins and 129 losses. That's about almost 60%, a little bit above or a little bit less than 60%, but I'll take it, guys. Okay, I'll take it. All right. But guys, let's touch up on some things, okay? Let's touch up on things. The first thing I want to touch up on, first and foremost, is Charles Johnson, guys. All right. Why do I want to touch up on Charles Johnson? Okay. Pause. No Diddy. Okay. The reason why I want to touch up on Charles Johnson is because, guys, guys, we're in 2025, and the UFC, they got this crazy new Paramount deal for $7.7 billion. That's not even including the other deals that they're going to get. Okay? The sponsors that they're going to get with that new Paramount deal. All right? And yet we have Charles Johnson with a negative bank account, guys. How is that even possible? Maybe, I don't know if Charles Johnson, is going out there spending his money or anything like that, but I don't see Charles Johnson out there partying, spending his money all, willy-nilly, guys. Okay? So it got to the point right now where Charles Johnson almost didn't even make it to this fight. Okay? Because he didn't even have enough money to pay his coaches. It got to the point where his coaches actually had to give him money. So he could be comfortable, right? Making it to the fight, like buying his food, paying for his traveling. Charles Johnson had no money. Okay? And it's a sad story. Okay? It is a sad story that we're in 2025 going into 2026, and I know for a fact there's a lot of fighters out there, especially in the UFC right now, that are struggling. Okay? Struggling. But for a fighter like Charles Johnson, who's fought, guys, Charles Johnson has fought about 12 to 13, from the top of my head, I think he's fought like 12 to 13 times in the UFC. Okay? If you fought 12 to 13 times in a huge organization like the UFC, why are you broke? Why are your coaches having to give you assistance? Okay? In my opinion, that doesn't look well for the UFC. But it never has. It never really has. But yet, I don't know what's going on, guys. Let me read some of these comments. Well done, Big Johnny. LOL, massive W. Inconsistent killer. Travis. Stop complaining and fight more. Not UFC problem. He needs to hustle and buy more. I think and buy more. I think fighters don't fight enough, bro. They're fucking lazy. I mean, fight more. I couldn't agree with you, Jack. I couldn't agree with you at all. You know what I mean? Charles Johnson has fought, like I said, 12 to 13 times in the UFC. I don't understand why he's broke. I don't understand why he's not getting paid. I mean, 12 to 13 times in the UFC, I mean, people will call you a veteran. But yeah, we have people like Jack who says, fight more. Fight more, man. You know what I mean? Fight with those injuries. Who cares? Okay? Just get your ass in the octagon and die. Okay? Die for this organization. That's basically what Jack is saying out here. You know what I mean? And he's saying that I'm complaining. Guys, I'm not complaining. I'm just spitting out the facts. Okay? I'm just spitting out the facts. And the fact is, we have multiple fighters that are fucking dead broke. And they're fighting for the UFC. Unbelievable. And now you find out why, people like Mike, Platinum Mike Perry, Francis Ngannou. I mean, I could keep going over and over. And these guys left the organization because they wanted more pay. Okay? And they made the right decision. Because look at Charles Johnson right now, having to have assistance for his coaches to make it to a training camp or make it through a training camp. Unbelievable, guys. Okay? Unbelievable. Come on, bro. We got people out here working their ass off 40 hours a week. If he broke, he needs to fight more. LOL, my opinion. Jack, I do understand that's your opinion. And if you're talking about 40 hours, if you're a person right now, right? If you're a person right now and you're working 40 hours in this American society system that we're in, I commend you. Okay? Because I don't work 40 hours. Okay? I can't work 40 hours. Point blank. If I worked 40 hours, I would be broke. Okay? I would be dead broke. I wouldn't have enough money for anything if I only worked 40 hours. You know how many hours I work? Guys, I'm pulling like 60 hours at one spot. Okay? Okay, and at the other spot, I'm pulling like about 25 hours. Okay? If you want to talk about hustle and grind and go get it, okay? That's the epitome right there. Okay? That's the American dream right there. Because 40 hours a week, I commend you. If you're working 40 hours a week and you're making it, awesome. You know what I mean? Awesome. It's hard out here for a pimp, guys. It's hard out here for a pimp, okay? What's up, Taylor? How you doing? Welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. Eddie Spaghetti says, love the beard. Well, thank you so much, Eddie Spaghetti. I really appreciate it. Guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel, okay? It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Run up these likes. Run up these subscriptions. Come on, support the community. Come on. But guys, I mean, to each their own. To each their own. Okay? To each their own. I mean, I don't... Fighting is a hard sport, man. Fighting is one of the hardest sports, let alone mixed martial arts. Okay? So, we could all sit back and just say, hey, Charles Johnson, just fight more. But how about if he can't? How about if he can't fight more? How about if he, he's suffering from an injury? A lot of injuries happen in the UFC. A lot of injuries happen even during training camp. And I'm sorry, if you get injured during training camp, the UFC doesn't pay for that. You know who pays for that? The fighters. The only way that the UFC pays for injuries is if it happens during the fight. So that's why a lot of these guys, they go through training camps with injuries, and regardless of the injury, they go into the fight knowing that they're going to lose, but at least they can have the UFC pay for their surgeries. What the hell is going on out there? Guys, oh God, it's just crazy to me, man. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me at this point, because here we are with the UFC wanting to, well, not wanting. I mean, they're competing with the NBA, the NFLs, the NHLs, the MLBs, and yet they don't have 50-50 split, man. The split is literally 16%. 16% is shared to the fighters. That speaks a lot, guys. That speaks a lot. Jack says, we got Big Ink and Poatan next blockbuster fight. Looking forward to it. I got big ink all day in that one. I see, Jack. I see you. You know, I'm not gonna make my early fight predictions for that one, but I do hope is a better. I do hope is a better, competitive fight. The second go. You know what I mean? Jones said, did you just say you work 65 hours a week, guys? Guys, yes, yes. I pull, and not 65 hours, guys. Not 65 hours. Okay, I work more than 65 hours. Okay, I work more than 65 hours. All right. I pull 60 hours at one spot, okay? And at the other spot, I'm putting like 20 or like around 20 to 25, okay? Give or take. All right? That's the American dream, guys, okay? That is the American dream. Salute. Salute. Because let me tell you something, the American dream is not what it seems. I can tell you that much. Jack says, so you think Dana needs to pay them more? Charles Johnson got power. Good win. I chose that chump loner. LOL. Jack, I chose loner as well. I thought loner was performing well in that first round, but unfortunately in that second round he got caught. Charles Johnson started opening up. Okay, and do I think Dana White should pay the UFC fighters more? I mean, this should be a conversation, guys. This should be a conversation. I mean, it's plain and simple. If the Dana White did mention now that they got the Paramount deal, this multi-billion-dollar deal. Now he's talking about upping the bonuses, but I'm like, okay, if you're upping the bonuses, that's trash, guys. The bonuses have been $50,000 since the beginning of time. Okay, since 1993, it's been $50,000 bonuses basically. Okay, all right, and don't forget, guys, that $50,000 is not $50,000. Okay. It's more like $28,000 because after taxes, you're not seeing $50,000. So that bonus that the UFC is trying to sell you, that they're saying, oh wow, we get $50,000 bonuses, but yeah, we're gonna turn that $50,000 into $100,000. That doesn't make a difference, not at all. Because first and foremost, if you're gonna say the bonuses are going to go up from $50,000 to $100,000, you might as well say, guys, we're going to actually give you $50,000. Because if you give me $100,000 as a bonus, I'm not going to see the full $100,000 after taxes. I'm most likely going to see $54,000 of it. Trash, guys. So I don't know what Dana White is talking about upping these bonuses. He better up them really well, okay, really well, because it's not looking pretty with me. It's not looking pretty to me. So you work 80 hours. Liam says, so you work 80 hours a week. 60, 70, 80. Yeah, like about 80 hours a week, man, or close to it. I'm not gonna say I work 80 hours a week. Every week, right? But I'm going to say this. I do my part, man. I do my part in putting in as many hours as I can, you know what I mean? So I can be comfortable, okay? I just want to be comfortable, okay? That's all I want to do. I'm not looking to, right now I'm not making any big moves, you know what I mean? I got everything right now with me is very good. My credit is good, you know what I mean? I'm not in debt. You know what I mean? I know people that are $500,000 in debt, okay, and rising, okay? And me, I don't have any debt like that. Literally, I only owe like I think like $20,000 in anything, you know what I mean? Overall. So I'm doing pretty good. You know what I mean? I'm doing pretty good. I'm living comfortable, and that's all I want. I just want comfortability. You know what I mean? And these days, to live comfortable here in America, guys, I mean, like I said, if you're working 40 hours a week, I commend you, man. I commend you. But I don't live with anybody. I don't have any roommates. I'm by myself. So yeah, I gotta pull in the cash. I gotta do what I gotta do. So yes, I work close to 80 hours or damn near 80 hours. Okay? Hard work, dedication, guys. Hard work, dedication. That's the American dream right here. Okay? That is the American dream that they're selling you. So you spend a lot of time on here. I like you, but the math ain't mathin'. How is the math ain't mathin'? Tell me how is the math ain't mathin'? if you're working, okay, so if I'm working at a let's say I don't know, I'll make up a spot. Let's say you're working at Kmart, right? You're working at Kmart, and your shifts are 10 hours. They're 10-hour shifts at Kmart, right? So you're working 10-hour shifts at Kmart. So you're working, let's say you pull in at Kmart five days a week at 10-hour shifts. That's about 50 hours just at that one spot. Okay, that's about 50 hours. All right. Now, let's say let's say you have a part-time job, a side hustle. Okay, and let's say at that side hustle, you average like about, maybe 10 to 12-hour shifts. And you work at that part-time job like about, maybe I want to say, twice a week. You spread it out twice a week, right? Guys, what do you mean the math ain't mathing? What the fuck are you talking about? How is the math not mathing? Fucking pathetic, bro. If the math ain't mathing, then you just don't know how to split your time. Honestly. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a nighttime worker, you know what I mean? And you're also working a day. What are you talking about? You're solid. Peace for that, man. He's decent. Bro, you understand that makes no sense. How doesn't that make any sense, Jones? Please explain to me how doesn't that make any sense? Because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Please tell me how doesn't that make any sense? You're working 5 days a week, okay? You're working 5 days a week, 5-hour shifts. I mean 10-hour shifts. 5 days a week, 10-hour shifts. That's 50 hours. And you have a part-time job that you average like about 12 hours twice a week. How is that not mathing up? Please let me know. Please. Because from the sounds of it, it sounds like you know what I mean, you're just you're not even half. You know what I mean? You're not even half of a man that's built to do what I do. If you're talking about that's not mathing. That's not making sense. I can tell you a little boy. Okay? Sad story, guys. But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand. It's a sad story that Charles Johnson is not getting paid. The UFC should be paying him more, and the fighters. Unfortunately, the UFC is not going to do that. Okay? $10-hour shifts, then work another 30 hours? What are you talking about? Yes, you work 5 days a week. There's 7 days in a week, guys. There's 7 days in a week. 7 days in a week. 5 days out of those week, 5 days out of those week, you're working 10-hour shifts, okay? And then those other 2 days out of the week, okay, you're working 12-hour shifts at your part-time job. You put that together, that's almost 80 hours, guys, or even more. So yes, the math is mathing, guy. All right, you're just a broke dude that don't like to work. You're probably lazy as shit. Jones, fucking crazy. Mars, how you doing, Mars? Welcome back to your channel. Welcome back to your chat. All right, like and subscribe, guys, if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Support the community, guys. It takes no effort, literally. All right, another thing that I want to talk about, guys, is guys, I said this before and I say it again. I said it in my UFC fight predictions, guys. Brian Ortega is a dead body. I don't know. I don't know what was the strategy going into this fight against Aljamain Sterling. But I'll tell you what, Aljamain Sterling is not even a striker. Okay, I wouldn't consider Aljamain Sterling, top 10 strikers in the UFC. Definitely not. Definitely not. By far, when we're talking, if we're talking about Aljamain Sterling, guys, okay, by far. And for some odd reason, yesterday, or not yesterday, but this morning, watching, watching the fights, Brian Ortega was so awful that Aljamain Sterling looked like Max Holloway out there. Aljamain Sterling was jabbing him up. Brian Ortega couldn't do shit. Okay? Guys, the percentages of punches landed is unbelievable, guys. Aljamain Sterling damn near landed 60% of his punches. It was 57% of Aljamain Sterling punches were landing. Brian Ortega landed 7% of his punches, guys. Guys, 7%. Okay? 7% of Brian Ortega's punches were landed, which means, guys, he was missing. He was throwing to the wind. Okay? He was sparring with air. Okay? There was no opponent. There was no Aljamain Sterling. There was only air. Okay? Brian Ortega needs to think about retirement at this point. Okay? It's a sad story. It's a real sad story. He did not look impressive at all. I mean, a lot of people thought this was going to be a banger. A lot of people thought this was going to be closer than what it was. I even thought that. You know what I mean? Even though I picked Aljamain Sterling, and I did say Brian Ortega is a dead body walking through the cemetery. I did say that. But guys, I did not think Brian Ortega was this bad. 7%? That's atrocious. Not even the worst striker in the UFC misses that often. That is just... Let me read some of these comments here, man. Oh, my God. He's been trashed for a while. I'm gonna ignore that guy. He's just an idiot. Aljo Lame did well. LOL. He didn't even want the 5-rounder. Jack, who would want a 5-rounder? Jack, this fight should have never even been 5 rounds. Aljamain Sterling should have never fought 5 rounds with Brian Ortega. Okay? Point blank, period. Brian Ortega is the one that wanted it to be 5 rounds. Aljamain Sterling didn't want this fight to be 5 rounds. This didn't even need to be 5 rounds. After the beating that Brian Ortega took, I mean, unbelievable, man. Mars says Ortega looked like he woke up from a coffin at the weigh-ins. Mars, he probably did. He probably did. Unfortunately, he was having some weight issues. Didn't make the weight. Ended up making 153 at a catch weight. Ended up making it to the octagon, but he looked awful. John says, hey. I don't even know what he said. Mars says, crazy to think Ortega was seconds away from submitting Volk at one point. Yeah, that was back then, Brian Ortega. Excuse me, that was Brian Ortega that had he had a glimmer in his eye. You know, back in the day, Brian Ortega had a glimmer in his eye, and I liked Brian Ortega. I liked his style. I liked his Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills. You know, he was a fun fighter to watch. You know what I mean? I mean, he even got some, you know, nasty KOs. He got a KO on Frankie Edgar. That was nasty, I remember. Very impressive. What else? When he fought against the Korean Zombie, I believe it was the Korean Zombie. He fought against the Korean Zombie. That was a phenomenal fight. So, I mean, Brian Ortega, he had some great highlights. He had some great moments. But now we're here, man, and it's not pretty, man. It's not pretty at all. 7% of your punches landed is just terrible, man. Terrible. And then he didn't. There was not even a moment in that fight that I said to myself, wow, Brian Ortega looks good. Never. I never said that during that fight, man. He looked fucking awful. And you know what else was awful, guys? These referees need to be reprimanded. I'm just being real, man. I'm just being real. After UFC 319, after what happened at UFC 319, I didn't think we were going to have another situation. But Herb Dean ended up stepping into this situation in the 5th round and told Aljamain Sterling to make something happen. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's using his footwork. Since when is it illegal to evade punches and use your footwork to your advantage? Since when? Fucking Herb Dean and this fucking Mark Goddard fucking guy, they really need to be replaced at this point. I mean, once upon a time, those guys were good referees, but now I don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay? They need to be reprimanded. In my opinion, they've had. Both referees have outaged their positions. Okay, it's either they can't see, they can't move fast enough, they're having a little dementia. I don't fucking know. Okay, but never in my right mind did I ever think that evading combinations and using your footwork to your advantage would be illegal to the point where the referee is like, I'm gonna take a point. Come on, get busy. The fuck you mean get busy? Tell Brian Ortega to come and get me. The fuck you mean? Atrocious. Atrocious. Let me read some of these comments here. Let me see. That was Tracy Cortez era Ortega. Carlos, you're a dog. I blame Tracy Cortez. Guys, I did mention that, guys. I did mention, okay, that Brian Ortega's soul left his body when Max Holloway, basically beat him to a pulp. Okay, it's either that or his soul left his body when Tracy Cortez, left him. Either one, okay. Mr. C's, how you doing? Welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. No fee to COE, the OG. If it's free, it's for me. Hey, Mars, Carlos Martinez, we're on the same wavelength. Jack says, you got my guy Black Jag to KO that piece of Dom Reyes, bro. I got Black Jag KO in round 1. Carlos says he's K. He K. Carlos says Sterling kept hitting him with that double jab. That double jab kept working all night. Maverick, how you doing? Welcome back to your channel. Welcome back to your chat. Yeah, but you failed to realize that grappling the inner earlobe is illegal because it causes severe arthritis to your opponent. That grabbing the inner earlobe is illegal because, I don't know. Mars says Mark Garter is also guilty of early stoppage. I can't disagree. I mean, like I said, these referees need to be reprimanded. All right, they need to hire, I think they need to hire younger referees. Point blank period. These referees, they have dementia. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Yes, I have, John. Yes, I have. If you're asking me, yes, I have. Okay, guys, and I've actually competed as well. Guys, like and subscribe. If you are new to the channel, guys, all right? Run up these likes, run up the subscriptions, okay? But I'm done talking about Brian Ortega. Unfortunately, he should be considering retiring, in my opinion. I mean, if you're looking that bad against Aljamain Sterling in the striking, I don't know what to tell you, okay? Hopefully his coaches sit down with him and advise him, to be honest with you. Moving on, and, I'm done talking about Charles Johnson. It's a sad story. It's a sad story. Charles Johnson broke. The UFC is not paying these fighters. I mean, Charles Johnson, basically a veteran. He's fought 13 times in the UFC. I don't understand why he's broke, but hey, to each their own. Oh, and guys, I do want to mention that heavyweight division is in shambles. Okay, did you watch Sergio Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortez Acosta? Guys, that fight was awful. That fight was awful. As I was watching it, I was telling myself, wow, this is a great reminder why the heavyweight division is in shambles. Straight awful. Straight awful. Okay? Awful. What else? Oh, wow. Let's talk about Zhang Man Yang sticking up the place, guys. Okay? Sticking up the place in his own time. Guys, I did mention if you guys watch my UFC fight, play-by-play, you guys know for a fact when this fight was starting and Zhang Man Yang was actually making way to the octagon, I did mention, can you imagine if Zhang Man Yang loses to Johnny Walker in his hometown? Can you imagine that, guys? I had an inkling that was going to happen. I had an inkling that Johnny Walker was going to go in there and beat Zhang Man Yang, but it was a little too late because I already made my UFC fight predictions, and I did pick Zhang Man Yang to win against Johnny Walker, but unfortunately, Johnny Walker went in there and just beat him with some leg kicks. Zhang Man Yang, okay, is a sad story. Unfortunately, he dropped the ball, and I don't even think the ball will be in his court ever. Ever. Okay? He just stank up the place, okay? The whole event was built around him, and he didn't deliver. He didn't deliver, not even a little bit. I'd love to spar him. Sign the waiver, MMA Guru. Ooh, we need Yamakaze back. Maybe, guys, maybe a death in the UFC would be better, right? Because I'll tell you what, you bring him back, there will be a definite death. Agreed, these heavyweights are bums. Tell me why. I mean, did you watch that fight? Sergio Pavic versus. It was awful. Guys, it was awful. Screw MMA. I don't know who. Cool, man. Cool. Let me keep going. You called that stoppage, bro. I did. I did call the stoppage. Okay, and I knew it. I had a feeling, man. I had a feeling. I always have these feelings. Okay, I always have these feelings. Same situation with Laurent Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Okay, I called that one too. As soon as I saw Aaron Pico, making his way to the octagon, and I had a good look into his eyes, I knew right away. I was like, oh wow, Aaron Pico is afraid. Aaron Pico is nervous. Aaron Pico is gonna lose, and Aaron Pico is gonna get knocked out. And what happened? What happened? He went slept. He was slept like, oh my gosh. Jack says, we saw prime Johnny Walker. He was fire. He saved that Mo right down. LOL, Daggy style. He beat him, man. I still can't believe Johnny Walker went in for a takedown. That must have been. That was the funniest shit I ever saw in my life. Johnny Walker is the most unpredictable fighter you can ever watch. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe Johnny Walker actually went in for a double leg against Zhang Yang in the seconds of the fight. It just, I was literally, as I'm watching this, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? What is Johnny Walker doing? Going in for a double leg takedown when the fight just started, and then boom, he finds himself on the ground with his back, just fighting off of his back. I mean, Johnny Walker is he's a weird guy, bro. He is a weird guy. That was a damn rugby tackle, wasn't it? He literally just put his head down and moved forward. It was, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I was nervous when he was doing the worm celebration again. He could have freaking pulled his arm out of the place, but at this point, Johnny Walker, I mean, he's made of rubber. Okay. Oh, guys, unbelievable, unbelievable when it comes to to what happened this morning at this UFC fight night. I mean, Johnny Walker being weird, like always. Brian Ortega losing to Aljamain Sterling by unanimous ass whipping. It was a good card though, guys. I really do think this was a good card. I didn't even grade this card, but if I had to grade this card, 1 to 10, this was a good card, man. I give it a solid 6. I give this card a solid 6. I mean, the card starting at 3 a.m. really hurt, guys. I mean, that really hurt. That really fucked up my sleeping schedule. It really did. You know what I mean? I didn't go to sleep, till like noon today. You know what I mean? So it really fucked up my sleeping schedule. So these cards over there across the world, man, they're really hurting. All right, they're really hurting, especially my old ass. But overall, I give this card a 6. It was good. It was a good card. It was very entertaining. Cannot believe Michel Pereira actually got knocked out the way he did. Unbelievable. He got knocked out and slept. Jack says, I like seeing some of these fighters reinvent themselves. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Good point. Dustin Poirier is a good example of that, actually. Maverick says, I remember when people were saying John Jones was ducking Johnny Walker. Remember that? Johnny Walker was supposed to be the person to knock John Jones out and beat him. Imagine that. Jack says, John Jones went out like a coward. Jack, unbelievable. Then all the goofy KOs happened to him. It really did. This card started at 2 p.m. and finished around 7 p.m. for me. Great card. Mr. C, awesome. You know what I mean? But for us over here, it was tough, man. It was a tough card. It started at 3 a.m. and ended at 6 a.m. I mean, no. It started at 3 a.m. and ended like around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. or something like that. It was unbelievable. I was like, what the hell? Which UFC is it? DDP or PDD? Who's got better cardio? I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. Okay. But guys, I mean, I just wanted to get on here really fast and, talk about, things that I wanted to touch up on, and I think I touched up on them. You know what I mean? I touched up on Charles Johnson being, broke. Unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We talked about Brian Ortega losing and looking horrible. Guy should retire. Johnny Walker getting the win against Zhang Meng Yang. Zhang Meng Yang dropping the ball. I don't think he's going to get another opportunity, to be honest with you. And what else? I mean, Michelle Pereira got knocked the hell out. Still can't believe that. Okay. Yo, Kobe, how you doing? Welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. Probably props to you for the 5 hours live stream. I'll be watching more play-by-play. Thank you, Carlos Martinez. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. I started a UFC meme page. Cool, man, on Instagram. There you go. Get it going. I want to see Walker make a small comeback and maybe knock out Jamal Hill. I'll smile ear to ear for that. Guys, Mustard, welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. And when it comes to Jamal Hill, guys, I mean, yeah, why not? Book that fight. Jamal Hill is a dead body right now. He's in a losing streak. This would be a perfect time for Johnny Walker to avenge that fight. And you know what? Since the UFC, if the UFC is going to be, if the UFC is going to rebook that Johnny Walker versus Jamal Hill, I honestly think they should rebook Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker. Okay, let's get that going. All right, let's get that going. I didn't know that how you pronounce Poirier first name. Michelle Pereira. Is that who you're talking about? That's how Buffer does it. Jamal Downhill. Hell yeah. R.I.P. Ben George, a murderer. Jamal Hill is the lowest. Is at the lowest he's been mentally. Let Walker walk this clown down. I would like to see it. Book it. I got jury to KO Roundtree. I don't know about that, guys. I don't know about that. Demetrius Johnson, baby lotion. What? You guys are wilding, guys. That's about it, man. I mean, what events are you excited for? I know Alex Pereira versus Uncle Live is next. That's a okay card. I'm definitely gonna give my UFC fight predictions for that as well. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this whole thing unfolds. I thought it was as Michael, as in Michael. Nah, it's actually Michelle, like Mitchell, but like Michelle Pereira. I believe that's how you pronunciate it, Michelle Pereira. What is Poatan doing with Nina? I have no idea. I don't even follow Nina like that. I know about her, but I don't follow her. Been asking for Aljo. No, hell no. What are you talking about? I wouldn't mind that personally. I like Hooker versus Chandler too. Winner fights Conor maybe. Conor is never coming back to the UFC, guys. Okay? Conor is never coming back to the UFC. Leave him outside of the UFC. The guy is training for no reason. Guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Come on, run up these subscriptions and run up these likes, guys. Support the community. Let's go. What Ortega gonna do, man? Well, Alex, in my opinion, I think Ortega needs to retire. After last night's performance, he needs to retire. Landing 7% of your combinations of your punches, and Aljamain Sterling is not even a striker? Awful. Awful. Brian Ortega is at the end of his wits, okay? And I think they need to sit him down, have a conversation with him, and let's talk about retirement. Let's talk about that, okay? That was some weird shit, man, Nino and Alex. I haven't seen it. I got to check it out. Otherwise, if Hooker's still out versus Benio Darius, Meccano, or Benoit Saint Denis, I like that. I like that. Imagine Conor on White House. Conor is definitely not going to be at the White House, okay? The only White House he's going to be in is in a bag of cocaine. That's the only White House he's going to be in, okay, guys? Gino, how you doing, Gino? Welcome back to your channel. Welcome back to your chat. Blessings to you. Gino says, good morning. Conor might fight White House card, or don't you have any confidence in him returning? Conor would not be coming to the UFC. Conor would not compete at the UFC. He would not be competing at the White House. Point blank period. That's my predictions for that, guys. Brian Ortega versus Jose Aldo. Aldo deserves a better retirement than that crap they both do. Let's keep Jose Aldo out of this. All right, he's retired. She was sniffing Alex's feet. Ew, that's fucking nasty, bro. Doesn't she have a man? Isn't her man the cameraman? Fucking total disrespect. These hoes out here are total disrespect. You know what I mean? And we got men out here just taking it. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Grab your fucking cojones. Grab your fucking balls. Let them fucking, on the table. The fuck? I don't give a damn who you are. Fucking, if you want to go smell other man's feet, go right ahead. Go right ahead, baby girl. But you ain't got a man no more. What the fuck is going on out here? These men are sleeping. Unbelievable. What's next for Brandon Moreno? UFC Mexico doesn't seem like it hasn't any big fights this year. Carlos Martinez, I don't know. I don't know really what's going on with Brandon Moreno, to be honest with you. Former champion. I mean, he's always, top of the top when it comes to the flyweight division, but I don't really know what's next for him, to be honest with you. Alex, Connor P.O. will not stand for that. That's definite, Alex. Gino says apparently Connor was supposed to fight Chandler, but that's a small fight. That's a small fight because Chandler does not even bring a fan base. Gino, that fight was supposed to happen, but unfortunately, Conor McGregor pulled out with a toe injury. Okay, his toe was swollen like a balloon. Okay. Jeff says, "Yee, bro, her man was literally watching her sniff his nasty ass sweaty kickboxing feet." You see what's going on, Mustard? You see what's going on out here? All right. I don't know what's wrong with men out here. You know what I mean? Get your respect back. Okay, get your fucking respect back. All right. If your woman is out here smelling other man's feet, that's not your woman. Point blank, period. That's not your woman. She's for the calles. Okay, she's for them streets. All right. Point blank, period. Leave that girl right where you're at. You know what I mean? If she was smelling feet in the car, leave her right there. Leave her right there. Moreno said on Jackson, he's been trying to fight and can't find one. Unfortunately, Jonathan, that's what happens sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you throw out names and, you tell the UFC, hey, I want to fight this guy. And then the UFC goes over there and throws him a contract and the fighter's like, nah, I don't want to fight him. Sometimes that happens. Why do you think Conor hasn't fought? I mean, cocaine, drugs. What else? What else? Catching cases in bathroom stalls. I mean, what else, guys? Partying, cheating on his wife. I mean, not even his wife, because they're not married. Paul Tom was touching her feet and stuff. Like, what's going on? Mars, that's crazy, bro. That is crazy. Whatever. To each their own, guys. To each their own. Funny, but it's like, what does her content do for the UFC? How do they promote her content after sniffing a double chance feed? Jeff, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. For some odd reason, the UFC, they're doing things opposite these days, okay? I mean, the UFC has ring girls. Guys, we're at a stage right now where we don't need any ring girls anymore. I'm just being honest. We all know what round it is. Once the bell rings and Bruce Buffer leaves the octagon and he's done with his announcements, we already know that's the first round, okay? And we already know when the bell rings, that's the end of that round. And we already know when the bell rings again, that's the second round. Guys, we don't need ring girls, okay? But yet these ring girls are paid better than these UFC fighters. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Gino says, how many fighters in the UFC is still fighting for legacy and not money? The only fighter fighting for legacy outside of Dagestan is Ilya Taporia and DDP. Even Chimaev is fighting for money. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Mustard, nah, bro. Firefighters, bro. First fighter that head kicks Nina should get a raise. I agree, Mustard. I agree. Just says flyweights is kind of a stalemate, as Van is next in line, and most of the top contenders have fought each other. You're absolutely right. We got a new contender though. We got Charles. I mean, not a new contender, but we have Charles Johnson, and you got to remember Charles Johnson does have a win against Van. So I mean, hey, that sits well. That sits well. Can you imagine if Van is able to beat the flyweight champion and Alex Pantoja? I mean, in Pantoja, sorry, and if he beats Pantoja, hey. Hey, we might just have Van versus Charles Johnson. You know what I mean? Hey, I used to like her. I used to like her interviews, but it got too flirty, sexual over time. Of course it did, because she has breasts and she's a female. Unfortunately, John Jones is the other case. He's fighting for money but protecting his legacy. Well, I don't think John Jones is fighting for money anymore. I mean, they threw $30 million at him and he still denied it. So, Gaming says, "Will you smell John Jones' feet?" Fuck no. I just want to know. Fuck no. How much money for you to smell John Jones' feet? None. I would not smell another man's feet. Point blank. Period. If another man tries to to have me smell his feet, that would be the last thing he ever does. Okay, Karen fucking T. Don't come for the ring girls. Fuck the ring girls. Jonathan, OE wants ring card men. No, I don't want no guys. We already know. We know how to do math out here. We know how to count 1, 2, 3. Why the fuck do we need ring girls? Honestly, why do we need them? That'll be a great way to put up some of the pay grazes. All right, if you eliminate the ring girls, that's it. You got a whole stack of money right there. These ring girls are getting paid $75,000 a year. Okay, $75,000 a year. Some of these fighters can't even make 40. Okay. They're all fighting for money. No one's fighting for free. I agree. I just want to know what dollar value will you get you to smell John Jones' feet? None. He will be missing his feet. Pantoja is running through the division for more years to come. Nobody stops that man. Yeah, I agree with you. He could climb the rankings and arguably win another fight. He could get a title fight, man. I like Charles. I'm being ignored. I respect you. You're not being ignored, Gaming. John Jones would definitely want you to smell his feet, though. No cap. Fuck that. You are not a foot smeller. Definitely not. Ilya isn't fighting for money because he's already rich. If he came from the trenches, he would be fighting for money. Gaming says, would you shoot John Jones if he tried to make you smell his feet? I would have to. Shoot John Jones. I would have to shoot John Jones dead. All right, because if I just shoot him, he's still a threat. Okay, the guy can kill me. So I'll have to shoot him dead right where he stands. Gino says, why smell John Jones' feet for feet? What is he pokes you in the eye with a toenail? Ew. Ilya's wife is wealthy. I bet $100 to my boy that Van stops Pantoja. Man, Jonathan, that's huge. That is huge. But guys, it's been fun. It's been entertaining. Okay, you guys have been awesome. I wanted to get back on here and talk about some stuff. Obviously, post-fight for this UFC fight night. I mean, September is not really entertaining when it comes to fights and whatnot, but September, is a down month for the UFC. But we're gonna keep it rolling, guys. All right, we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it pushing. All right. Thank you for supporting this community. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You know what I mean? Real talk. I really do. Guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. And like I always say, this is your channel. The only channel where the fans come first, not last. Guys, I'm out of here. Until next time, I'll most likely go on again. You probably see me either Monday morning or Sunday afternoon. We shall see, guys. All right, we shall see. Blessings to y'all. Stay safe. You already know. Until next time, y'all. Peace.